Hi, BookTube. It's Peg back at the History Shelf. It's been a minute. I had big plans for last weekend. I promised a couple of people shelf tours would be ensuing. And then, just as I was getting better, I got a head cold and I got sick again. Not as seriously as the first time, but I'm just now starting to feel like I'm getting energy back. But I'm telling you, this has really kicked my butt. But I feel like tonight, I feel like I might be turning a corner. So fingers crossed, guys. I apologize for not having a shelf tour ready. Um, I'm hoping this weekend, maybe next week. And I also have some big news in that um, I had asked for suggestions in one of my last videos about, how do you deal with not wanting to part with books that you love, especially like books you just feel like you'll reference again, especially with my history collection. I just don't like to unhaul or give away things. And one of you, Andrew B., said, yeah, I have a suggestion, just get more bookcases. Well, I thought that was out of the question because we have so many already. But wouldn't you know it, I put a little bee in Martine's bonnet, and she started measuring, and we took our Christmas tree down, and now we have this big space. If you just look over here, do you see this? It's kind of an empty space, as Andrew B. rightly pointed out, that best filled with a bookcase. So we are having another IKEA Billy bookshelf arrive. Well, it arrived today, actually. We just need to put it together. And then we have another one coming to go across the way. I could spin the camera around. It might be a little, it's kind of messy over there, guys. Let me clean it up next time and I can maybe spin the camera around on its tripod here. But there's a half bookcase on the other side and it's brown, and we'd like to have it all match. So anyway, I'm going to have two huge bookcases to help with the overflow. I've had some books piling up in my library upstairs and on the floor right next to me. So we're going to take care of that. Anyway, the purpose of this video, I thought, would just be like a catch-up, just to let you know where I'm at, how I'm feeling. I think it's been four or 5 days since my last video. I don't like waiting this long. I try to put up content every few days, couple of days. But again, I've just been wiped out. But I thought this could be like a January TBR slash, what I'm reading now. And also I have some new acquisitions, some new books that came in, and I thought I would show those as well. So without further ado, thanks for letting me just catch you up on how I've been doing and feeling. And okay, so right now I am reading, or this is part of my January TBR, I guess we'll say. So this is a holdover from December because I lost December. I pretty much didn't get much reading in. This is The Reality Game, How the Next Wave of Technology Will Break the Truth by Samuel Woolley. As you can see, I'm already in it. I've already got notes going on. I'm about halfway through it. It's just a slim volume. It's just talking about the disinformation that can go on with social media, as we know, and with elections, how social media companies are, basically, wanting to hide under the guise of we're a technology company, we're not a media company, but yet they very much are a source of media for everybody. Everyone's going to social media for their news, and none of it's being looked at, regulated for truth. So it's interesting. It raises some questions. I'm only halfway through. I want to see what his propositions are to help, to fight the fake news and all these conspiracy theories that float around and can really pick up traction, even with mainstream media, before people can actually vet to see what is the source of this. Is it true? But we'll see. We'll see, because there's a fine line between regulating to ensure truth and then censorship. So, and then are we going to entrust that to a government bureaucracy? I don't feel too good about that, but what are you going to do? I don't know. it's a sticky issue, and we're right in the middle of it, and now we have 2020 election coming up. So this could be a huge nightmare, and I don't know if any of these things could be enacted in time to help, but it's good to know. And this is written by a guy who has studied this. He's the founding director of Digital Intelligence Lab at the Institute for the Future, whatever that is. He is a former research director at the Computational Propaganda Project at the Oxford Internet Institute. He's written for Wired, Atlantic, Monthly, Motherboard, Slate, and he's been on NBC. He's been on different news channels, BBC News. So this guy, he knows what he's talking about, and he's working on the problem. Anyway, interesting read for interesting times that we live in. And I'm going to write a review for this, and we'll see. I'll see if Steve would like that at Open Letters. Speaking of Steve and Open Letters, and welcome back, Steve. I know you're catching up on all of your videos. So, oh boy, there's so many things to talk about. So there has been, Alan Morton has been putting on, or he's hosting, or not hosting, he's, sorry, he's involved with a charity for the, I want to get it right because I saw how Jason Harrigan got it wrong. He was kind of brutal in the comments. I want to get it right. But the challenge is the Chunksters Reading Challenge, where you can donate a certain amount of money to the Book Aid International, I think. I will have it correct in the show notes. I'll put that below so everyone can go check that out as well. Let's get this going and get it viral, you guys. I'll put the hashtag in there as well. So the Chunksters Reading Challenge is, if you read a book 800 pages or close to it or more, you donate, and you finish it in 2020, you donate money to this organization, which provides books to countries in need and school children. And I think it's fabulous, and I love literacy programs, and I love supporting them. So actually, I was reading this book for Open Letters. I'm reviewing it, and it is massive. So this is going to be one of my Chunkster challenges for 2020. This is Margaret Thatcher, the authorized biography, Herself Alone by Charles Moore. This is volume 3. I will be reviewing it. It's like 900. It's almost 1,000 pages with footnotes. Without footnotes, we're looking at an 830-page book. So I will be writing a review for Open Letters once I finish this. Hopefully in a month. I mean, maybe less than a month if I can take this down in maybe 50-page increments every day. I don't know. Steve had been talking about this book in one of his last videos from today, and he mentioned he likes to put book reviews that other people have written about the book inside his version of the book. Now, he sent this to me, so Steve, I don't know, do you have a second copy? Because I was watching your video, I'm like, uh-oh, he sent me that book, so if he starts looking for it, I have it. If you want it back, let me know. I can send it back when I'm done reading it, but anyway, I'll be reviewing this. She's an interesting person. Again, I can say this, Martine's not around. First woman prime minister in England, controversial. But I've been hearing good things about this book in that it's supposed to be very, Steve reviewed it, and I think for Christian Science Monitor, and it's supposed to be really very touchingly written and with a sense of, it talks about her years, 20 years, I think, after she left office, and things got kind of sad, so I think it's going to really show more of her human side, whereas the first 2 books probably just plowed through and just covered her, China and the bullshot China. God, I'm not fully there, you guys. I'm still not fully there mentally. I'm still trying to regain my brain cells from this cold. Bull in a China shop, where she just kind of came in and started just smashing things around and doing her thing. And she's a powerful character in the history of England. And so anyway, I've just started this. So I'll be really applying more time for it once I finish the reality game. And then, what else am I reading? So I'm reading a couple of fiction books right now. I've mentioned this book before. I'm still kind of in early pages here. This White Nights, Anne Cleeves, a thriller. And the White Nights, now I know from reading it so far, is that it's referring to how, the Shetland Islands, they're so close to the North Pole that at certain times of the year it's just daylight all the time, and they call them White Nights. So, which can drive people a little bonkers, which ties in well for the story. So I'm reading this in little drips and drabs. It all depends on how much energy I have when I like to read in bed, and I like to read a mystery when I'm going off to sleep. I do try to read some nonfiction, but when I really recline back on the bed, it's mystery time. And on that note, too, I'm reading this book as part of a book club on Book Browse review online. And this is The Lost Man by Jane Harper. Now, I've never read any of her books. Apparently, she has about 3 other books, I think. And I've heard just good buzz about her. It's drawn me in already. About 80 pages in. It's set in Australia, so I haven't read a book set in Australia in I don't know when. 3 brothers, 1 death, no answers. So essentially, it's a big ranch, family ranch that is split up between like three sons, and the one son has middle son has the biggest portion of it, and they're way out in the outback. There's like nothing around. It's just desert. It's brutal, and they find his body. I mean, it starts off with that. They find his body in a place that makes no sense that he should be there. The oldest brother, Nathan, is the one that they focus on right now, as he's trying to figure out what's going on. And so yeah, I think we're going to learn some family secrets here pretty soon. But The Lost Man by Jane Harper. So, whoa! Sorry, I nearly knocked over my lamp. Yeah. I'm klutzy too. When I get sick, a couple of things happen. I lose a lot of grace, klutziness, and I can mix up words. And yeah, so there you have it. Now this book, I was meaning to start reading in December, and I had every intention to read it in September. December! Do you see what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. Oh, I better quit while I'm ahead. But I pretty much lost December, so I'm going to be reading this as soon as I knock out probably The Lost Man. I'll finish first as part of the book club. But this is a book by Lawrence Westwood. This is a mystery set in the Song, I think is it the Song Dynasty? Let me get it right. Yes. It's a mystery set in like ancient China, and I just find that I love it, because I am wanting to read more about China this year and Japan. And in fact, I'll be doing a separate video soon with my 2020 reading goals, where I'm going to commit. I'll mention many books that I want to read, but I'm going to have a core that I absolutely commit to finishing. And one of them is a history book that covers China and Japan. I really want to dig deep into that. But this is called The Balance of Heaven and Earth, a magistrate Zhu, I think it's pronounced that, Lawrence, if that's correct, a Zhu mystery. I follow Lawrence on Twitter. He's a wonderful gentleman, very into, he knows his stuff. Historian and writer, and he has another book that I want to read as well after this one. I think he's working on the second book for this mystery series. But it's about his magistrate, who is like the lawman in those times, and yeah, he's investigating mysterious murder. There's rumors of ghosts, and it's just going to be great. So I have it marked, ready to go. So I can't wait to finally read this one. It's been too long. So I'll be looking forward to learning some more about the historical fiction from the Song Dynasty in China. So I have these 3 fiction on one side, because I can usually read a couple of fiction books at the same time. It doesn't, the genres can be mixed up. Like this one's a mystery, right? Mystery thriller, no problem, set in modern day. The Magistrate Zhu mystery is set in China. I mean, I can read that at the same time. It does not faze me at all. I'm definitely not a one book at a time reader. I'm reading tons of things. In addition to reading journals and things that come in the mail, I've got Independent Review, Journal of Political Economy. That just came. Getting tons of my history magazines, and I just subscribed to American Scholar on a whim. So I've got another subscription coming up. I swear, if I could just, if I just was independently wealthy, if I just had a inheritance or something, I would just spend all my time reading and writing, and that would be it. And spending time with family and helping mankind and all that good stuff, right? So for right now, that's my TBR. We've got Reality Game. I'm finishing that up real soon. Hopefully by the end of the weekend. And then Margaret Thatcher. I really need to make some headway in that. Oh, there's another book I'd like to add to the January TBR. So once I finish the Reality Game, I'd like to have another history book going. I can read nonfiction. I can read more than one at a time. And I have proposed, because I've had it for a little. I need to get this review done. And plus I love this writer. He's a great guy. So this is The Crusaders. I've shown this before. Epic History of the Wars for the Holy Lands. Dan Jones. And his most recent book was The Templars, which I'm fascinated by them as well. So all his stuff is good. I've got a whole row of stuff behind my head. I'll show you on a bookshelf tour. I promise. Of Dan Jones's work that I've collected and I read. So, The Crusaders, I am going to start reading this one in tandem with Thatcher after I finish this, and the fiction I reserve for unwinding, nighttime, and bed, that kind of stuff. So that's my January TBR. Now, let me just grab a little sip of something. A little diet soda. I just have to give myself a boost, a little caffeine. Gosh, I just feel like I have so many different things to talk with you guys about. But I guess in the meantime, I'll just try to keep this on track. So I've got some new acquisitions. So what has come in the mail? Well, I have been collecting mostly used stuff, and I wish they're all over there on the other shelf. The Oxford Illustrated History series, which is pretty cool. I have in hardcover an older edition of the Oxford Illustrated History of the Crusades, which will make a nice visual reference for me for the Dan Jones book. But then I saw, I was just searching them online and seeing which volumes they have and what I'm interested in. And I picked up another one, and it's upstairs, darn it. It's the Oxford Illustrated History of Ancient Greece and Rome, I think, so it covers both. And then I got this one. This is brand new. I got this one. I had a credit or a gift card for Barnes & Noble, so I got the Oxford Illustrated History of the Reformation by Peter Marshall. Little slim, it's by Oxford. It's by Oxford, because I just, I can't think properly. I'm really looking forward to this. This is cool. What am I reading right now? Oh, that's right. I just read a book on the Catholic Church in Iceland. It was fiction, but I was reading about how the church in Iceland is the reformers took over and they outlawed Catholicism, and Catholicism only recently came back there in the 1850s or 60s or 70s, when it was 1874 when the Iceland Constitution allowed for religious freedom. So I just kind of got back into it again, and I was like, oh, Reformation stuff. I need to dig into that. So just really cool stuff. It's not in color, but lots of illustrations. Oh, beautiful stuff. Look at that. Love it. So that's a new book that I've recently acquired. Another book that has been on my watch list to get, and again, I will watch to see when things are affordable. if I'm going to be buying the book and it starts off at like $35. I just can't do it. So this one's been in my cart for a while, and the price was dropping and dropping, and it finally just dropped to like 60% off. And this is Paul A. Ray, and I don't know if any of you guys, first of all, I love any book on Sparta. I am a fiend for ancient Greece. I love that history. It could be one of the things I'd like to I get a master's in. Again, I have 3 things I'm interested in, and ancient classical history is one of them. But this is his latest book. Let me get the focus. Sparta's First Attic War: The Grand Strategy of Classical Sparta, 478 to 446 BC. And what the heck? What is in here? Well, Martine has struck again. Oh, she's funny. Oh, she's funny, that one. Yes, Cobwebs. Sparta's First Attic War. God bless her. God bless her heart. She did buy me the bookshelves, though. She did do that. So, but anyway, so this Paul Ray book is put out by Yale. They make some put out some awesome stuff. This follows along on a book I bought from him. I bought it many years ago. This was the most recent release in front of this one, and this is The Grand Strategy of Classical Sparta, the Persian Challenge. So again, it's a series, I believe they call it. Well, let's see. Well, first of all, they're definitely part of a set, and now this new one is a companion volume to The Grand Strategy of Classical Sparta. This one, oh yeah, explores the collapse of the Spartan-Athenian alliance. Okay, so actually, yeah, the series from Yale is called the Yale Library of Military History. So it's this. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I just was trying. I knew that they were, part of a smaller series or a library that the university press pushes books out under. So yeah. So I've got Paul Ray's latest. Cobwebs. It just cracks me up. All right. Also, at Christmas time, I told you that Martine got me a bunch of great books on Irish folklore and myth, and I showed you a couple of them, and a couple more came in that I had not included, so I wanted to show you real quick. I think I had shown you that she had gotten me this one, the mother of Oscar Wilde's book on Lady Francesca Speranza Wilde, Ancient Legends, Mystic Charms, and Superstitions of Ireland, right? That was, I think, on Jason Harrigan's wonderful suggestion. And then she also got me Tales of the Elders of Ireland, a new translation of a name I cannot pronounce. Not yet, but I will. And then 2 more came in. Then she got me a Penguin Classics. Early Irish Myths and Sagas. So, I mean, I am like covered. But it doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. So this one's got all the different stories, like the cattle raid of, I can't pronounce that, Froke, I don't know. Oh, wow, the wooing of Atene. Sorry, I know I'm butchering it. Oh, and I also learned, and I had to correct myself in case you watched that video where I called it, on this book, They call this an early collection of, now this is the correct pronunciation, this is an early collection of Fenian stories and poetry. I had said Fenian, of course I did, right? So, but Fenian, and Martine gave me the whole history about Fenian as a word and how in certain instances when British people use that phrase, it's derogatory. When they call someone, you know, that Fenian or something, it has. She was really getting into the nitty gritty about how that is perceived, but in this case, she just told me you pronounced it wrong. She goes, I didn't want to interrupt your video, but you pronounced it wrong. So thank you. And then finally, she got me this beautiful. This is the Barnes and Noble edition, I think, but it's just lovely. A treasury of Irish fairy and folktales. So I've got a lovely little library going on Irish history or Irish folklore and myth, and talks about the leprechaun. And I'm not going to lapse into a faux Irish accent because I do not have that. I love Irish accents. They are beautiful. They are lilting and delightful to the ear. But yeah, so this is cool. What do you guys think of that? It's gorgeous. I don't know if the green is coming up. Yeah, you can see the green. I'm looking at my screen right now to see how it's rendering. So these were the total haul from Christmas. Some of them arrived a little late, but gosh, you guys, I'm gonna need these bookshelves, you know, pronto. I'm glad they're here. We just have to put them together. Okay, so this is a 26-minute video. I didn't mean to go so long, but I hope you're all having a wonderful evening. Thanks for your patience. As soon as I am up and running again, full steam, we will have more regular content. Again, I'd like to make them at least every couple days, every 3 days at the most. I don't like going longer than that. Please comment in any of the books if you have any questions. I will link to in the story notes, or the story notes. Show notes, not story notes. My God. I apologize. I can only apologize, you guys. I am working at half power here. So, in the show notes, I will put in the Chunksters Reading Challenges, links, everything you need. I'd like to see this go viral and see some other folks take up the challenge. It's a great cause. Thanks, Alan, for doing this, and I'll do my best to keep promoting it. And I already have my first chunkster, and I'm sure that I will have more. So, more videos to come. I hope you guys are having a great night, Tuesday night. I will talk to you soon. Bye, BookTube.